Welcome to The Authority On, the podcast brought to you by Device Authority. Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of The Authority On, a podcast brought to you by Device Authority. I'm Louise Jose, Senior Marketing Manager here at Device Authority, and today I am joined by Steve Huehmer, VP of Customer Success, and John Hynds, Director of Customer Success. Hi guys, welcome. How are you?
Hey Louise, great. Thanks for having us.
Steve, would you like to give us a little bit of an intro about you?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So as you mentioned, VP of Customer Success here at Device Authority. Been in the role for almost a year here. So, it's been a great ride so far. The primary objectives of my role is to ensure the customer experience of our customers at Device Authority are great. Right, essentially making sure we're emphasizing time to value, we're getting things deployed and integrated and spun up at the right time, and making sure we're continuously driving value with our customers. So that's one of the reasons why we were excited to come on today and talk a little bit about the new DA Academy.
That's brilliant. And you, John?
Yeah, thanks, Louise. I'm John Hynds, Director of Customer Success for North America, although I do work with the broader global team here. And, much like Steve said, the goal in customer success is a self-defining term. We're all about their success. We want to make sure that all facets of their journey with Device Authority are successful for them in a meaningful way that, goes not just beyond ROI, and which there is, but making sure that they're comfortable with the solution, they're comfortable with the technology, terminology, because that's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure that their ability to, work with and feel supported and get all the information that they need in order to have a successful journey is, a predominant part of the role.
As Steve alluded to, that's part of the reason we're here today, is to talk about DA Academy, which you guys have been working really hard to create, and we've now got the foundation course available as well. So can you tell me a bit more about DA Academy and its primary objectives?
Yeah, sure. And I think to kind of kick it off, we've always had a formal onboarding process for customers as they come on board with us, and a big part of onboarding is obviously getting familiar not only with our products and services and how to use them, but also IoT security in general, right? Concepts, frameworks. So that's always been a big part of our onboarding with customers, or maybe just maturing customers as we move on in our partnership with them. But what we really wanted to do was build an actual formal curriculum that all customers and prospects and anyone really in that IoT security space, or someone who is looking to get into that space could benefit from. So that's how we came up with the DA Academy, and its primary objectives are really to equip professionals, so end users or partners, with the knowledge and skills to effectively deploy, manage, and optimize Keyscaler in real world security environments and IoT networks. So it's not just for customers, it's for students. We work with many universities, and students actually take this course. We've worked with our partners, MSPs and MSSPs, you name it. So it's really covering the whole realm of everyone we partner with and helping in IoT security foundations. Selfishly for us and customer success, we like to make sure it emphasizes time to value for our customers, right? The more you know our buttonology, if you will, and our products and our services and how things work, your time to value and deploying and onboarding and leveraging the solution is going to be greater, right? So that's something that we include with every new customer now, and existing customers we make sure are a big part of that academy.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So as part of, now it's part of the onboarding journey to help those customers get well acquainted with Keyscaler before they even start using it. But then it's open to everyone, which is amazing. So it is available on the website as well. You can head straight over there and click a button and join the academy and do that accreditation. But I just think it's brilliant that it's open to everyone, anyone who's interested in learning more about Keyscaler itself as well. So what are the key topics that are covered in the associate level accreditation? John, that might be one for you.
Yeah, so the associate level just provides a foundation, and like you just said, it provides knowledge and information at more, I would say, more at the basic level, obviously compared to our advanced level. Um, it's an understanding of Keyscaler, which is our platform, um, and what we run on the device to help facilitate that security posture. Credential Manager is our agent. And then we have a library that we load. That's Dynamic Device Key Generator. We just call DDKG. The topics include IoT security fundamentals. So we kind of go over credentials and data encryption, secure data at rest and in transit, so on and so forth. And talk about best practices for deployment, which is kind of interesting, depending on the industry. We'll touch on that a little bit too. It's definitely designed for technical and non-technical audiences, and I really want to stress the non-technical. It's people that should understand Keyscaler at a high level. So it's not just techs. This could be project managers. This should be the managers who maybe own the team that's supporting the implementation of Keyscaler, right? Program managers, people who could possibly see this in use, have an understanding of the functionality and what we can provide to help them better manage their team, maybe look at this as a solution for other parts in the company, which we see quite often. We'll, land in one particular function, and then other people say, hey, I could use this over here. So that type of knowledge, I think, is helpful to the companies to get a better understanding of, just what it is that they have and what can it do for them.
My personal experience, having helped build the actual functionality of the test itself, I can very happily say that I have benefited from taking the accreditation myself, and I am very non-technical, being in marketing, so it's definitely expanded my knowledge.
As you said, there is a test. I just want to let folks know at the foundational level, it's open book.
Yeah.
We just want to help you assure yourself that the information that was provided. It's all there in the material, so it's kind of a checkbox versus something that's really critical.
How does the master level course build upon that foundational knowledge provided in the associate level?
The master level is definitely advanced. It's a hands-on course, installation, configuration, API integration, troubleshooting, and definitely we get into advanced security automation. So the participants gain practical, real-world, hands-on working in a real Keyscaler deployment. We pull logs, we read logs, we do troubleshooting, and all of this helping them to optimize the security workflow. Unlike the foundational course, this is designed for security architects, solution engineers, technical implementers, and the people that will be supporting the Keyscaler platform within the organization. I would definitely recommend they have or familiarity with security and, some of the basic tools needed to implement that type of architecture.
Who should consider enrolling in academy courses? Are there specific roles or industries that you think would benefit most?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, customers definitely, we want to be proficient in Keyscaler, but also other IoT security and OT security concepts. So we work a lot with security engineers and solution architects and IT admins who really are the ones championing and administrating Keyscaler. To the point around partners and MSPs and MSSPs, it's very important that our partners are enabled to enable their end users. So we have a little bit of a different flavor for the foundations course and masters when it comes to an MSP or MSSP, right? So we kind of tailor it based on those needs.
Yeah.
The other big thing is even executives and project managers, product managers, those are the folks that are really involved in the IoT security planning across their organizations and the decision making. So the concepts of this academy really help them and enable them to do their job and understand what's going on at a deeper level.
What advantages do participants gain from completing these certifications?
Well, first and foremost, there's a certification, right? So it's established credibility. Again, not just for Keyscaler, but in IoT security. So like you mentioned, we've all taken it. We've all gone through the test, and that's how you achieve your certification, which we issue out once you do complete each course.
Yeah.
So that's great. The career growth aspect has been huge with a lot of the universities that we've been invited to lecture in and actually do some hands-on training with. So just career growth and development is a big vertical for this, but really the confidence in deployment and running Keyscaler in your production IoT environment is the outcome, the desired outcome that we're after. The more successful our customers are, the more successful we are. And that's really what we keep in the back of our minds when we design these, not just the content for the foundations, but also the labs and the hands-on work John was mentioning for that master's section, which is obviously a lot more technical and a lot deeper of a dive from a hands-on perspective, right? So
talking about, expect and the advantages, etc. But how does that knowledge actually translate from the course into practical applications in IoT security management?
Yeah, so this is real world hands-on experience. Yes, we have a deck that goes along with it, but we want people to, on their own, be able to, get in, manage the platform, do the processes that they need to do in order to automate their environment. So, rather than just saying, I've read the book, it's an I did and I can do when you come out of the course. I can do this. And that can be applied immediately to their IoT security environment. So you'll hear this word a lot at Device Authority about automation, and this is about learning how to do automated credential management. So we want to help you have a really good understanding of that, how to do it with your hands, as Steve said, know all the buttonology, right? And this definitely would reduce security risk associated with manual device authentication by far.
Amazing. You mentioned like that hands-on practical learning as well. Can you elaborate a bit more on the interactive elements of the courses and how they enhance that learning experience?
Yeah, the courses include, well, one of the nice things I like is these are instructor-led, right? So we have real-world discussions, open Q&A while we're doing hands-on with the Keyscaler deployment, right? And it's totally interactive for, when you're troubleshooting, you're not on your own trying to figure things out. You've got the class there, you've got, people asking questions. Sometimes, oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's a great question. And, what's maybe a follow on from that? So there's a lot of peer collaboration in that sense. We try to do a lot of Q&A throughout the course as well to make sure that people are understanding and grasping. The courses are built kind of hierarchically, so one thing will build on the next. And it's really important that people feel a continuity, going through that with their peers, and that they do come out, like I said, with that hands-on capability and knowledge. And Steve, you mentioned MSPs, SPs. This is like a scenario-based role-playing opportunity. It helps them develop the knowledge and the capabilities of how to position Keyscaler and how to speak to this when they understand and they go in and they talk to the customer about their workflows and their problems. That knowledge that they have would immediately help them identify key areas where they can help that particular customer.
So good to know that you're not just going to, download some course materials and be left to your own devices. You're actually going to have that interaction as well, which I think is all part of the learning process. Otherwise, it gets a bit tough doing it all on your own, doesn't it? So, right. What is the process for enrolling in DA Academy courses?
Sure. So the most frequent is a new customer joins us and this is included, right, in the licensing with Keyscaler on-prem or on SaaS, right? So it's something that from day one, when we're managing the onboarding journey and the timeline of deliverables that we're responsible for a customer or partner, the academy's in there, right? So we have a lot of customers that the first month or two that they want to dive into the academy, or maybe the third or fourth month after they do some initial production deployment because that's their priority. So that's kind of the most common scenario. That being said, it's all available on our website. So we actually have a landing area for the academy. It's its own separate portal. And that's where you will get your credentials if you are a signed up academy user. And within those credentials, you have access to course material. So to John's point, we pride ourselves on it being instructor led today. And it will be, especially for the master's section, forever, right? That's very hands-on lab driven. For the foundations piece, that content's available. You can go through it in the appropriate order after kind of going through it with the hands-on session with your instructor on the customer success team. And what's really cool is when you're ready, you can take the test on our site as well. We have an interactive bot that tees up the questions. I think there's 35 or so on the foundations course, and it's super interactive as well. So it's not just you got this wrong or you got this right. It actually, if you do get a question incorrect, it'll point you back to the specific articles and pieces of content that section was covered. So you have the ability to kind of go and revisit and maybe figure out where you might have missed the question and again, take it again. But it's primarily through our website and then scheduled with an instructor based on your customer's timeline.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing, isn't it? Like you guys mentioned before, it's open book test. So, and it does instruct you as to where you're going to find the answers and be able to get that right in the next in the next attempt. But that's the great thing about it, I think, is because instead of it just going, yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah,
I found it so useful being able to go back and look at that look at those answers within the text provided as well. So from my own experience, I found it useful. But I know how much effort you guys put into building out the test and making that as interesting as possible as well. That's the thing. It's not one of those tests where you sit there and you're thinking, oh my god, it's a test. You're sitting there thinking, oh, actually, yeah, I do know that. That's amazing. And I'm not too sure about that, but I can go back and check it. And it's still a fun thing to do as well. It's just a nice little test of your knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's worth calling out too. Is this is very integrated into our 24/7 global support portal and operation, as well as our knowledge base for customers, our knowledge base portal. A lot of support tickets sometimes are that simple Q&A, right? And we're fine answering those. Our support organization's great, but we can learn a lot from what our customers are asking and what our partners are asking and channels are asking, and obviously iterate on the training for one, but also help build a more extensive knowledge base on those maybe generic areas where people need to spend a little bit more time or need a little bit more information around that specific subject. So that's another big part of it, is we do tie it together with our knowledge base and our support organization.
We've sort of already covered this before, but it's always worth reiterating. Can you run through what the prerequisites or previous knowledge you might need, taking these associate and master level foundations?
Sure. The associate, actually for both, desire is really what's needed, especially for the foundation, the associate level. But there's no really prior knowledge. You don't have to, know CISO level stuff about, security or even IoT for that matter. It's ideal. The associate's ideal for technical and non-technical professionals. The master's level is a little bit different. We definitely recommend at least a basic understanding of IoT security concepts. And there are concepts covered in the associate. So, if you took the associates and you felt comfortable with that information and you wanted to take the advanced, I would say, that's probably a reasonable step to take. But, that understanding of IoT concepts, familiarity with Keyscaler, which you would get in the associates as well. We would recommend having a working knowledge of Linux, the basis of our platform and being able to understand. But I wouldn't say if you're not proficient in Linux, we can work with you on that. That's not a game stopper. So, IoT security concepts, knowledge of Keyscaler, you're probably going to be pretty good to go.
Amazing. So have you had any feedback from participants who have already completed the courses? And can you share any stories or examples of how the certification has impacted them?
Yeah, so last year is when we launched the DA Academy, and we've had quite a few new customers come on board with those DA Academy seats being a big part of their license. Alongside working with some partners and universities like I keep referring to.
Yeah.
I think the largest piece of feedback, just generally speaking, is the time to value, right? So it really helps them get things operational and in production at a faster pace, right? And when you're talking subscription and having this case ask for Keyscaler for a year, maybe 2-3 years, the faster you can get it off the ground and do your job the way you're supposed to, the more successful you're going to be, and we're going to be with you, right? So that's been the biggest piece of feedback, is they can get off the ground and get running faster, which is extremely important to us. So I'd say that kind of sticks out as the big one.
Yeah, I think it's so important though, isn't it? Because like by the time a lot of our customers have come to us, they literally, that's all they want to do is hit the ground running. They want to get this done. They see it as a huge part of expanding their security posture and making themselves more airtight to attack. And that's the thing, isn't it? They want to hit the ground running. So we're actually giving them this,
Sure.
invaluable knowledge for them to be able to do that, and really help them on their journey with Keyscaler. That's the thing,
Right.
isn't it?
And every customer has a dedicated customer success manager here at Device Authority, as well as access to our support portal and global support team. And that's another big piece of feedback is, hey, we have you all for what we need, but we feel like we can do a lot more without having to reach out and maybe ask a quick question to support or to my designated CSM, because I've already covered those foundations. I've already done the hands-on labs. I don't need to lean on that team as much, which is great because we can focus on the bigger picture with that.
That's the thing. Lovely to know that you've got the support there from the team, like you said, but knowing that you might not have to raise that ticket because you've got that knowledge internally, that's another benefit, and it speeds up the process as well, doesn't it?
Sure.
So yeah, that's awesome. So what new topics or advanced courses can participants be looking forward to?
So we definitely plan to expand the courses. We want to include specialized training for API integrations. Again, automation is huge here. So what we can do, not just in our workflow, but how can we enable your workflows to be more automated, more predictable, more repeatable, just lends itself to a better IoT, overall security architecture. A deeper dive into zero trust architectures and zero trust blueprints for the life cycle of the device, right? From production to the customer, maybe even decommissioning and recommissioning, right? There's a lot that can go on there. And advanced Keyscaler automation. So we're coming out with a lot of features in the product to, again, enhance automation, increase that IoT security footprint. Future courses, we're looking at including specific verticals because they all have their nuances. Healthcare, automotive, critical infrastructure. They're not within those verticals. They're not terribly dissimilar, which is interesting. And understanding that footprint would definitely be, I think, a benefit for anybody taking these courses.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining me and talking through all of this. It's definitely been an interesting topic, but I just wondered whether there was anything else that you'd like to share about DA Academy or any advice for those considering enrolling.
I think it's obvious in today's landscape in cybersecurity and IoT that security training is essential for staying ahead in today's threat landscape, especially from an IoT and OT perspective. So a lot of folks really understand the value of this and really want to be a part of it, which is great. Future looking for DA Academy. Obviously, we're not a single use case. We have customers in multiple verticals. We're answering a lot of complex different use cases based on the core use cases customers partner with us for. So that being said, I think that's where the evolution will be is the hands-on master's lab courses being more focused around use case outcomes specific for what that customer or partner has partnered with us for is going to be critical. So I think we have a lot more to build on here, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah, I'd add on to that. This isn't just about learning or getting your certificate you can put on LinkedIn, which is always great. I love seeing folks put those up there. But the output of these courses is skill and credibility. We want you to be able to do the things that we taught you, understand the concepts that we taught you, right? I think there's a huge issue with security in the world right now. IoT is, we're seeing a lot of issues in the IoT world because of the multiplication factor of how many more IoT devices there are than PCs or just servers, right? So we want to make sure that people have that skill and that credibility to really make an impact within the IoT security world.
Hey guys, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you about everything today. And if you are interested in, joining us over at DA Academy and, doing those accreditations yourself, then please do check out the link that I've put into the show notes here as well. That will take you straight to DA Academy over on our website, and you'll be able to get started with us straight away.
Thanks, Louise.
Thanks, Louise. Appreciate your time.
No,
thanks for having us.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Authority On, a podcast brought to you by Device Authority. If you have any questions about the subject matter in this podcast, please head to the Device Authority website, deviceauthority.com. See you next time.